Well, I had photographed the Beatles when they first came here at Carnegie Hall. So that was my entree onto photographing English people. But Bailey, when he saw my pictures, he told me he liked my pictures, but just, you got to photograph the Rolling Stones. That's the group, you know. And he was very friendly with Mick Jagger and all that. And then this guy comes in wearing a sweater and big messy hair. And they sat down and I went over to talk to him. I found out this was Mick Jagger, who Bailey was talking about all the time. We talked for about a half hour, and I said, "Are you playing anywhere? Is there any place I can see you playing?" He said, "Yeah, we're playing this afternoon." I said, "Can we go?" He went and got a telephone, called up, and put aside about 20 tickets for us. We have got wonderful pictures of the crowds outside looking through fences and all that. Mick was in the first car with Chrissy Shrimpton, Gene Shrimpton's sister. That's who he was dating at the time. And we pulled in. We couldn't get in very far because there were crowds of people. They couldn't get in, so they were outside. And they just to get a look at Mick was just heaven for them. So we pulled in. There were about 8 cars. And Mick was in the first car. He figured he's got to get in, so he just opened the door, started running, and they started pulling on his sweater. They were tearing his sweater off him, And finally he got in. There were 2 or 3 groups that went on before the Stones, and I figured the Stones are backstage putting on their uniforms because the groups that came out were all wearing the same costumes and all that, and I figured they were backstage putting on their costumes. And then they introduced the Rolling Stones, and they came out in their street clothes. Mick had his torn sweaters and all that, and they came out and they performed, but the people went nuts over them. Because they were individual. They were not taking any crap from anybody. This is what they do. Yeah. They sing. When I knew the Stones were coming over, because by now I was friendly with the Stones, I knew they were coming over. I wanted to do something special for them. So I figured we'll have a party at my studio. I asked Jane if she would want to be one of the hosts, and Nicky Hazlam. Do you know Nicky Hazlam?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Nicky, so the 3 of us actually did the party for the Stones, and the people were coming in all day long, and Mick would come in, make a connection with some girl, he'd leave, he'd come back,